so we stack it there.
Green Dolphin Street, supply the setting.
For me, for me.
The setting, for nights beyond forgetting.
How could I ever forget? Down here, just can't listen.
I am a peer educator here at HIPS organization, which HIPS stands for Helping Individual Prostitutes / People Survive. I had been prostituting and I got caught several times. And the judge, well, my parole officer had advised me that they were going to send me back to prison. And his supervisor, for some reason, came in the room and said, please don't send him to jail. Let's try in this program called HIPS. I was like, HIPS? So they ran it past the judge. And I took advantage of the name and what it stands for, and I wrote my judge. And I asked her to please allow me to address this program because they always have programs for drugs, but they've never have I ever heard of a program that addressed a prostitution issue.
When I recall the love I found out, I could kiss the ground on.
Watching.
Green Dolphin Street.
And I left home, to get away from my family because there was a lot of negativity. They didn't understand. And, I had to come here, just to be comfortable to, don't have to worry about my family seeing me in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Or to criticize me or this and this and that.
I was out there struggling. I had just lost my job from the Washington Post. I was going back and forth on the streets.
I went numb. Anybody could do anything to me, and I felt nothing. I learned to black myself out, out of body, out of mind. And I went through life like that.
I was constantly going out getting some money, constantly going to the crack man. I wasn't having nothing, no clothes, no nothing, shoes, no nothing. Then I met HIPS, and I was able to come up here. If I had been out one day straight or 2 days straight with no clothes, I could come up here, wash up, change my clothes, and go back and do the same thing again.
Being non-judgmental is like a cornerstone of our program, and it's it's a cornerstone of harm reduction, in the sense of like I think there are a lot of people who will look at sex workers and tell them like you shouldn't be doing what you're doing and you need to change, and we find that by not putting that judgment on them, by not placing that judgment, it really provides a space and an opportunity for people to kind of lead their own lives.
I had a lot of misconceptions. I was ignorant about the motivation behind it. And so there was really a big learning curve for me. And the folks at HIPS really helped me with that, to understand kind of the whole social injustice that goes on to cause people to get into this line of work.
First I was just passing around. They taught me how to sell, and then I started using, and then I would sell to keep using, to keep from selling myself. And then eventually my habit got worse and worse and worse. And I became a person that tricks, a person that prostitutes, because it was quick.
We used to go right through the back door, go buy some crack, and come right back in the back door. So it was right in the next complex. If they didn't have nothing in that complex, all we had to do is walk over to the next complex and they had it there. This is back like the late 80s, going to late 90s. And it was all around, everywhere. You didn't have to worry about searching like you do now. You could go to any corner and somebody was selling crack, 24 hours a day.
I was running for the drugs. I just had to get more and more and more. And it got to the point where I didn't care. If a man or something pull up or date, and that's when it comes in where the protection is at, most of them be like, well, I don't like condoms, you know, I can't get hard or whatever. And if you're pressed and determined to get that drug, you be like, okay, just don't come at me. That was my phrase.
I didn't really know what the condom van was, but I used to see this van that just constantly ride down on the stroll, you know, and that's where all the girls meet at and, you know, do their soliciting.
I saw the van out there, and when they drove up one day, I was just like, what are these people doing out here? Because there was a bunch of Caucasian people on the van. And I was like, oh, you know, somebody in their family must have passed away from AIDS. You know, I was really feeling sorry for them. I was like, but that's so nice of them passing out condoms. And when so when I went up to them and I was talking to them, Amy Pettit, she was on the van. She was the outreach director, and she was so friendly and so nice. And I remember years later, after I got myself together, off of drugs and everything, that I saw her out there again, and she was like, oh, it's good to see you, picked up weight. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I was just like, these people are still out here.
Has been working for 12 years as guests of the sex worker community in D.C. The reception that the organization gets because of its reputation, other organizations that I've worked with don't receive the same sort of, you know, running and screaming down the street, hips here, people running across traffic, you know, come up to the van, people who recommending us to their friends. People may not even know us, and when they learn about what we're doing, they, you know, really thank. I'm very thankful that there's someone out there who's providing free services, in order that people can stay safer on the street.
I hold the trans support groups for the transgender girls. I'm a peer educator. We meet once a month and we talk about just trans issues.
What the client advocate does is basically do a lot of one-on-one counseling, and we meet the clients wherever they at. When the clients come in, usually I'm giving out referrals and doing a lot of counseling. What I try to do is think about the times that I was out there on the streets, just some of the services that I was seeing that I needed, and also some of the other girls needed it while they was out there. So I try to make sure that they're transgender friendly and also sex worker friendly.
Like the outreach, where we do HIV testing, you know, and they have like the condom van that goes out on the streets and provide the condoms for the girls, and you know, we provide clothes for people that's out on the streets when it's freezing. You know, we give out hot chocolate to them in the winter when it's, you know, cold and stuff like that. So we just basically just there to help. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like a family. You know, once you become a part of HIPS and we're there to help you, we're always going to be there to help you. We're never going to turn our backs on you.
HIPS as an organization, you know, really exists because we believe that sex workers can be like the forefront of the fight against HIV.
We go out on foot to various areas and pass out these safety kits. And what's in these safety kits are a HIPS card, an outreach, you know, a card, a hotline card. We try to put 2 flavors, which are basic flavors are used for oral sex. And then after which we use magnums. We also insert 2 magnum condoms inside of it. You know how most people out here want to think they're the biggest ever. A book of matches, which has the HIPS logo on it as well as the HIPS hotline number. And then we insert 2 of our water-based lubrications. And we're ready to roll.
I don't think by giving someone a condom, you're encouraging them to have sex. I don't think by giving someone a needle, you're turning them into a heroin addict. I don't think that by giving someone a clean pipe and a rubber, a gasket to put around that pipe, you are somehow turning them into a crack addict. What you're doing is you're reducing the risk of them somehow contracting HIV or hepatitis or some other communicable disease, which then spreads on to other people because we know that people are having sex, regardless of whether it's legal or illegal sex.
You know, sex workers have contact in a meaningful way with the general population and have that opportunity to educate.
I'm out on the streets talking to girls. I'm out on the streets telling girls, there's the condom van, go get condoms. You know, go get that date rate sheet. You know, it's updated. Go look and see who's on there. You know, look at those tag numbers. I'm out there every Friday and Saturday talking to the girls. If I'm not on Eastern Avenue, I'm down on K Street. They ask me, when can we come up to Hips? You know, they ask me questions, and I like that because I'm going to give you answers. And I tell them, you know, whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you don't understand, ask me.
Sex workers deserve not to be judged all the time, and they deserve places and venues and, you know, spaces where they're respected, and where they can work on issues that are really important to them.
Well, because of Hips, today my whole life has changed.
Hallelujah.
You know, I no longer think the same way. I don't react the same way.
There you go.
I don't do the same things I used to do.
Right.
Because as they say, HIP stands for Helping Individual Prostitutes Survive. I was once that,
Right.
and I found out and know there's another way of living.
I want people to know that it's not about what a person does. Mm-hmm. It's basically about helping and understanding why certain people are doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody have their own reasons why they're in the streets. Everybody have their own reasons why they're into drugs or whatever. Mm-hmm. But our goal is to help them.
A lot of times people are out there saying, you know, sex worker, some people call them prostitutes, but sex workers, you know, they see them out there as, you know, trashy people, dirty people, but you need to realize that's somebody, mother, brother, son, daughter, you know, sister, you know, they're still human beings, you know, and a lot of times they're out there for survival.
I've decided to try life and stop being left out in the cold. Some may call me bold. I guarantee, remembering my past, this time I'll never fold. The card game, remember that? What cards are you holding? Do you plan to deal or chill? Come on, family, I'm just keeping it real.